Adiyoli Charanam, Jainandalala, everybody. Today's beautiful topic, Lord Ayyappan. Let's understand the whole beautiful journey of how it all started. How Lord Ayyappan, how did he happen? That's a beautiful story again. When we go to the very beginning of this journey, we go to Mahishasura and Durga. Now we all know and are familiar with the story of how goddess Durga defeated Mahishasura and she won the battle. But it doesn't end there. That's the beauty. We always have understood how jealousy and how revenge works, right? So this is what the next step is about, all about how the revenge takes over. Now Mahishasura has a sister and her name is Mahishi. So she is all about taking revenge for her brother's defeat. She's very angry with the gods because the gods had arranged this, right? The gods had arranged that he has to be killed. Mahishasura has to be killed. So she was very angry with the gods for arranging the whole thing and planning the whole defeat of Mahishasura and killing her brother. It all started with this revenge. In our scriptures, right? These stories teach us a lot. The revenge can go a long way. It will only destroy us in the end. So, always seen in the past of how revenge works. Even in Ramayana, the beautiful, the incident where usually when Shurpanakha, enters the scene in Ramayana, people immediately feel bad. They say, oh my God, the bad days of Rama started. Actually speaking, it's Ravana's bad days have begun. The minute Shurpanakha enters, Ravana's days are being numbered. It's not Rama's bad days. It's Ravana's. Do you know why? Because the whole journey is beautifully exhibited in a way that we understand how revenge works. As Shurpanakha's nose is chopped off by Lakshmana and she goes and cries to her brother. What does he do? Revenge. He's like such a strong king. I am such a strong, I've received so many boons. No gods can defeat me. And here is a mere human. He chopped off my sister's nose. I have to go and get him. She sowed the seed of revenge. That's it. It all started as soon as she entered the scene. Same way here. Mahishi, she wants to take revenge for her brother's end. Of course, the revenge is against the lords, the devas, and everyone. So how do they take revenge? They know the most powerful way of taking revenge is achieving all the boons, right? And how do you achieve boons? Doing severe penance. Severe penance. So she started her penance to Lord Brahma. Now, it's not easy to do a penance. We have spoken about it. It's thousands of years sitting in one place or standing in one place. It depends. through all severe weather, no food, no drink. Somehow you have to please the Lord, right? So Brahma had no option but to show up in front of Mahishi and ask her, here I am, what do you want? Ask me whatever, I'll give it to you. Mahishi had it all thought of. She had everything planned. So she said, no one except the son of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva can kill me. That's all she asked. It's all about, how you can be mortal. How you can be there forever. The asuras always ask about that, and they will find every way of asking. So she said something that cannot, according to her, is not possible. Nothing is impossible for the lords, the gods, right? Nothing is. எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒரு கணக்கு இருக்கு. Everything is planned. So she asked for a very, very peculiar boon. Lord Brahma knows everything. Quietly he said, okay, tatastu. So be it. You got it. She was very happy. She was laughing loudly because the son of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Impossible. Impossible. Only that boy can kill her. She's achieved it. So she laughed. The whole world, the universe shook. Her laughter was so loud. It shook the whole world. All the Rishi Munis could hear it. After that, of course, she started committing her atrocities towards all, harassed all these Rishi and Munis. They couldn't do any yagnas. They couldn't do any homams. Nothing happened. No Vedas were being chanted because she would appear and stop it. Devas couldn't have a peaceful life. They were being harassed too. Every Devargal were being harassed. They used to run, hide all the time. They couldn't take it. They ran and fell at Lord Vishnu's and Lord Shiva's feet because they know exactly what boon she has achieved. So they know only these two can help them. Now, a little rewinding a bit. Let's rewind a bit and see. During the churning of the ocean, Lord Vishnu had taken the Kurma avataram to support the mountain, when they were churning, to support the mountain from falling and going down. He supported it by going below the mountain and keeping it upright. And he also took another form. The same time, churning of the ocean, he took another form of this enchantress form. It's an enchantress form of Mohini. This was to save the nectar, to save the amritam from the asuras. Somehow they got hold of the amritam pot. So to save that from the asuras, to trick them, she took the form of Mohini. Mohini is another form of Vishnu. It's a beautiful enchantress form of Lord Vishnu. Just giving you a picture. Now coming back, there was another story. There's another asura named Bhasmasura. Now he had also done a lot of penance to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was impressed, came in front of him and asked him what does he want. And Bhasmasura again asked him. This is also a very peculiar boon. He said, whoever I touch with my hand on the forehead, they'll become bhasma, ashes. Lord Shiva said, smiling, he said, so be it. You got it. Now Bhasmasura was very happy. He ran and he was testing if it's working. And Lord Shiva just, he left from there to Mount Kailash. This asura was running around and checking if this works in every animal, human, everybody that he found on his way. And obviously turned all of them to ashes doing that. Very happy he was. He found it very funny. He was laughing. Now, what happens when power gets in the mind? Your mind goes for a toss. Now he was like, I've tried it on all the species. It's working. Now let me try it on Lord Shiva. Wow, the one who gave you the boon. You want to try this boon on him. He was on his way to Mount Kailash. Okay, of course, Lord Shiva is not easy to be found. He cannot be found so easily. He kept going and he kept looking around. He couldn't find him. Now, Narada came to know that Bhasmasura is searching for Lord Shiva. So he ran and he told Lord Vishnu. He informed Lord Vishnu that this asura is looking for Lord Shiva. So Lord Vishnu had a plan. He said, okay. And he goes down to Bhasmasura's palace as this end. Beautiful Mohini Avadaram. She says she's a dancer. She looks it. And nobody could say no to her. So they let her in. And Bhasmasura is very happy to see her because she's so beautiful. She's like a magnet. Once you see her, you're done. And obviously, Bhasmasura is no exception. So he says, go ahead, I want to see you dance. And she gives him a beautiful, nice show. Everything is done. He's very impressed. He takes off his gold necklace and rings and all and gives it to her. And he says, will you marry me? Exactly what she was looking for. She says, Manna, of course. Who will say no to you? She says. You've got such a big boon from Lord Shiva. You've acquired such a big boon. You're the most powerful. All the devas are running away from you. Why would I say no? She says. But I have one condition. Just one condition. I'll marry you. You just have to dance with me, she says. You have to follow my steps and dance. And he's like all enchanted. He's too mesmerized. He'll do anything she says now. That's the situation he's in. So he says, yes, yes, I'll dance. This is what dancing to your tunes means. Literally, right? So she started her steps. Very simple steps, beginning, hand gestures. And then suddenly the leg starts moving. He's also doing the same, following. And she's talking, she's singing, she's totally distracting him. And suddenly she touches her head. With her hand, she just touches her head as a dance movement, and he follows along and touches his head, and there, done. He's ashes. His own boon has destroyed him. So he turned to ashes, and that's it. End of Bhasmasura. Lord Shiva comes to know about this, and he appears as soon as this happened, he appears over there in that incident, in that spot. And he sees Mohini, Lord Vishnu as Mohini. Now, as soon as they both see each other, Mohini is so beautiful. Lord Shiva and Mohini, energy. The energies together give a rise to this beautiful avataram. That is the Dharma Shastra. So that is the energies of both the most powerful gods, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, together created a superpower form that we know as Lord Ayyappan, Dharma Shastra, Hara Putran. The whole purpose of Mohini was accomplished. Now, Ayyappan is equivalent to Goddess Durga in his powers. Now, he has come for a reason, right? Let's go back to our story. Mahishi. Remember Mahishi is still there? So, Ayyappan happened to get rid of Mahishi. Now, Bhasmasuran was just laying the foundation. Foundation to destroy Mahishi. Now, Lord Ayyappan has appeared. Now, who is going to bring him up? Let's see that. There is a Raja. He's called King Rajashekaran, and he's a king of Pandalam. And he had no children. It's the same story. I guess we've seen all these Rajas who have had the blessing of bringing up the divine avatarams. Most of them had no children, right? And the same thing repeats again. He had no children, and he and his wife are praying every day to have a child. Now he's on his hunting trip, as usual, daily hunting trip, and he's near the Pamba river. He's passing by when he hears the crying baby. Now, Lord Ayyappan was placed there by Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva on the banks of the Pamba river, and Lord Vishnu gave the child a little bell necklace that he's wearing. How cute. Even the thought of it. So now the baby is crying, and the Raja hears the crying. cries of a baby, and he stopped. He stopped and he wants to understand where the cries are coming from. He goes towards the direction. And he saw the baby alone. No adults around, nobody's there. And he slowly lifts the baby and holds it. And immediately there's a bond. There's nobody to be found. Nobody's there. He looks around. And there's a sadhu. He walks past and he tells the king, "That is for you, Raja, take him. It's a gift from the gods for you. He has a lot of divine powers. He will reveal himself when he's 12 years old." So the king is very happy. He takes the child and he named him Manigandan because of the money in his neck. And the queen was overjoyed because this is what they wanted. And they were very happy. It was a boy child. So always the king likes sons, right? So he was a boy child and they were very happy. They brought him up like a prince, giving him all the luxuries. And they taught him all Vedas, Shastras, weaponry, everything was taught to the prince. Now his guru, whoever taught him all this, his guru understood that there was something different about this child. He was not an ordinary person, and the guru knows that. He realized it. When the prince asked him for the dakshinai, right? In the end, when the prince had to give dakshinai, the guru said, "I don't want anything. I just want you to cure my son who is deaf and mute." Look at that, huh? So, obviously, Manikandan cures him. The guru was right. His assumptions were right. He always knew that this child was not an ordinary child. And soon after, obviously, the king had her own son. She gave birth to another son, and his name was Raja Rajan. And Manigandan was regarded as the older brother. And now the king decided to crown him as Yuvaraja. Obviously, this is where the problem starts. The problem that we know: jealousy, envy, and greed. How beautifully it is portrayed here. The minister of the palace, the minister to the king, he had other plans. The problem is they didn't have children beginning. So if they didn't have children, the minister would have been king because he was the closest. His dreams are shattered. Right? It's worse because some other child who's been picked out of the forest is going to be made Yuvaraja. That was a little difficult to digest for him. So he had to do something about it. He goes to the queen and he poisons her mind. It's so easy to poison somebody's mind, you know. Especially when it comes to assets, status, right? Power. position. Oh, what will happen if this person comes into power, then that person, that, this, and then you will be nowhere. Enough. Poison has entered. So the minister successfully poisons the queen's mind by saying, you have your own blood. You gave birth to your own son. Why are you crowning a stranger? You don't even know whose son it is as king. Do you see how evil that is? No, they both are sitting, and this is exactly what happened to Kaikeyi, Pavam, right? In Ramayana, Kaikeyi also fell for that. But see, these people are not bad. They're just picked for that reason, picked for that cause. Kaikeyi is not bad. Immediately after, she realizes and she does so much prayashchitam, and she suffers a lot. It's her karma. In a play, right? In a play, there are good guys and bad guys. So it's her turn to make a bad decision. Now, here the queen asks for ideas to the minister. She says, okay, you tell me ideas. What do we do now? So the minister says, okay, we tried everything. It's not really working. So the only way is you have to act like you have a terrible headache and it's not going away. And I will arrange for a doctor to come and see you. And the doctor will say that only the tiger's milk will cure your headache. The queen says, okay, I can do that. So the acting starts. Next day she's lying down with a terrible headache, and Manigandan is concerned. The Raja is concerned. Everybody in the palace is concerned. The queen's headache is not going. Then the doctor comes and he says the tiger's milk will cure her headache. The only thing will cure is the tiger's milk. Now the king sends men out to get the tiger's milk. They all come back empty-handed. Obviously, it's not easy to get the tiger's milk, right? Now the king is very sad. The queen is still suffering. Obviously, a real headache can be cured, not a fake one, right? So Manikandan says, Appa, I will go. I will go to the forest and get the tiger's milk for you. And Amma's relief. The Raja was not convinced. He said, no, you're a small kid. You cannot go. I cannot send you. Sorry. I have to see other options, he says. Manikandan pleads and pleads. Please, I want to go. I'll be fine. The king says, okay, you can go. I'll send you the soldiers to go along with you. And you can go. Manikandan says, no, I would like to go alone. Please trust me, he says. King with a heavy heart sends him with necessary food and requirements. He puts it in a bag and Manikandan puts it on top of his head and heads out. This is called the irumudi right now, that they do for Sabarimalai, The concept comes from here only. Now, as he left the palace, now all the Devargals are watching, this whole scene, his whole life, growing up, everything is being watched. The Devas and the Bhutaganas are all watching this. As soon as he leaves the palace alone, the Bhutaganas are there. They show up. And immediately Manikandan remembers why he was born, the purpose of his birth. It's always the same. Avatarams who are born forget. In the web of Maya, they don't know. They get caught. And someone comes to remind them why they're there. The purpose of the avatar. Same thing. Bhutaganas were there. Devas were there, reminding him his purpose. He says, I have to go and get the tiger's milk. And they say, no, 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 this is not your purpose. The tiger's milk is not your purpose. Your purpose is to kill Mahishi. That is why you were born. And they refresh his memory, and then he's very clear. And he saw visions of Mahishi doing her atrocities, committing atrocities and harassing the devas. He could see everything then. Everything was clear. And he immediately understood. And he headed out to defeat her. Now he went there straight to the battlefield. Obviously, he had all the devas behind him. Bhutaganas and devas, everyone were behind him. And all the gods are watching. Lord Shiva, Goddess Parvati, Lord Vishnu, everyone is watching him. Lord Brahma, everyone is watching this boy go out to kill Mahishi. And this beautiful scene unfolds, right? Beautifully. It's a powerful battle. And Manikandan somehow defeats Mahishi and threw her to the ground. And he buried her under many huge stones. She couldn't come out. Impossible. And she was dead. She was killed. Obviously, Mahishi's Atma, the soul never dies, right? Soul emerges. And she does namaskaram to Lord Ayyappan, and she falls in love with him because he's so good looking. She says, I want to marry you, Mahishi. Now, Mahishi got relieved of her curse. And now she's not an asura anymore. Now he says his purpose of existence is for a different purpose, different reason. And he has to stay as a brahmachari for that. So for that reason, he cannot marry her. But Mahishi kept insisting. She kept pleading, please marry me. I would like to be your wife and help you with whatever you're doing. Manikandan told her, you know what, you can remain in this forest, and assured her that whenever there is no new devotee coming to see him, he would marry her. That is the condition. From then, Mahishi took abode just near the Sannidhanam. And she's called as Malligapurattamma. Till today, she is eagerly waiting to see that no new devotee is visiting Ayyappan, but in vain. He knows that, right? That's why he's given that condition. So every year, thousands of Kannisamis is new people, first timers, visit Sabarimalai. So And to mark their visit, they would bring a sharp bamboo stick called saram and fix it on a tree at a place called Saramkutti. So, not one, thousands every day, every time. So she's still waiting. So it is believed that the day there is no saram fixed on the tree, Lord Ayyappan will marry her, which has never happened. Okay, so on seeing all this unfold, Lord Shiva was extremely pleased. So all this is happening, Mahishi asking and getting the boon from the Lord Ayyappan, all this has made Lord Shiva very happy. And all the devas showered flowers on Lord Ayyappan because he won the war, he won the battle. Lord Ayyappan immediately remembered that he had to go and give the tiger's milk. Back to reality. And he tells all the devas, I have to go and finish one job that I have. Please allow me. Now that I've finished this job, can I go back and finish that? So Deva says, we want to help you. Please allow us to help. He says, definitely. And Lord Indra insists that he wants to be the tiger. On top of, he's going to be the tiger on top of who? Ayyappan is going to sit. So Lord Indra becomes the tiger and all the other devas have become the tiger too, following Lord Ayyappan, who is sitting so beautifully on top of the tiger. Gambhirama, he's sitting with his bow and arrow, sitting on top of this huge tiger. Tiger's milk, I mean, in abundance. So many tigers have come now. So they're all walking, marching towards Pandalam, the kingdom. Everyone saw the prince seated on this massive tiger, followed by a group of tigresses. So a lot of tigers. The entire Pandalam was shocked and they ran for their life. Not an ordinary cat, right? It's a tiger. Can you imagine that sight? They all ran to the kingdom. Some of them ran to the kingdom. Some of them ran outside. They wanted to leave. King Rajashekaran realized that Manikandan was not an ordinary child. When all these people were telling him that he is seated on a tiger and so many tigers are following them here. They're coming to the palace. And then he realized the sadhu, he was taken back to his words. Remember what he said? He said when he's 12, that the king will come to know that he is not an ordinary child. And Manikandan was 12 at that time. And that is when it dawned on him that yes, now I realize that he is a divine child. Manikandan comes to the palace. The king is waiting. He does namaskaram, asks for forgiveness, because immediately after Manikandan left the palace to look for the tiger's milk, the queen got better. The queen was okay. Everything was fine. That's when the king realized that it was a plot. So when Manikandan came back, he fell at his feet, asked for forgiveness. and told him everything. He said it's all a big plan. They had made a plot against us. They were not happy that I was going to crown you the Yuvaraja and all this. Manikandan smiled like he knew all this and he said, don't worry. Don't worry. Everything happened for a reason. Ella nanmeki. Everything is for good. Don't worry. The king requested him to stay and take up the throne, that he wanted to crown him the king now. The queen also came and, asked for her forgiveness. Manikandan politely refused the throne. He said, that is not the purpose of my birth here, he said. That is not the purpose. His duty on earth is over and that he has to do penance and reach his abode soon. Raja was not, he was not convinced. He said, I want to do prayaschitam for what has happened. Give me something. What do I do? I feel terrible that under my nose this kind of thing happened. I want to do prayaschitam, he said. Manikandan had then asked him to build a temple for him. He took a bow and he shot an arrow. It went up in that mountain and landed there in a spot. He said, that is Sabarimalai. And that is where you will build the temple for me. Now Manikandan said he would be meditating in Sabarimalai and would be called as Ayyappan by his devotees. He also said that whoever wanted to visit him has to follow strict, severe brahmachari vratam and must stay away from worldly pleasures for 41 days before coming to Sabarimalai. Rajashekaran was so eager to see Manikandan as a king, right? He was like always thinking he would crown him the king and see him all dressed up as Yuvaraja and stuff like that. He was very sad that when he heard this, he was very sad that he was going to go to the forest and meditate and, leave all these luxuries. Because he's a prince. For the Raja, he's a prince. So he was feeling very bad and he expressed his sadness. And here Manikandan is all, his outfit was like a sannyasi, saffron clothes. So the king was not happy seeing that. Then Ayyappan said, you know what? I'll grant you a boon. Every year on Makara Shankaranti day, I will give darshan to the world as a king with rich costumes and weapons. So this is the boon the king received. He said that he will also appear in the form of a jyoti on that day, which happens till today, you all know, every Shankaranti. After saying all this, he proceeded to Sabarimala. Now later, King Rajashekaran, as per advice by Manikandan, he laid the foundation and constructed the temple. Now there is a saying that even Parashurama had a hand in building this temple, helped him carving the idol and installing it on the day of Makara Shankaranti. So, this is the first part of Sabarimalai. We will speak about the second part. Later in part 2, we will speak about the whole journey and many other things that most of us don't know. But in the story, what I liked is a summary, is how beautifully it has depicted how we should avoid revenge, jealousy, envy, and greed. It just destroys. With Bhasmasura, we saw he wanted power. And with that power, once he got it, he started destroying everything. He touched every species and turned them to ashes. And what happened? He turned into ashes. These stories are not there for entertainment. These stories are there to instill in us positivity and understand the whole root of the whole matter, right? It's not any Bhasmasura going and touching anybody. And of course, we don't have a boon, so we don't have to worry. No, it is about greed. It is about power. So when you have power, you should make sure that it doesn't take over you. It does that, right? Power does that. Immediately think we're very, very powerful and start doing our own thing and creating problems for others unnecessarily. Now we learn from these stories to always stay grounded. Whatever achievement, always stay grounded because it is given to us by God. That boon was given to Bhasmasura by Lord Shiva, right? Did he have it himself? No, it was given to him. Everything that we have is given to us for a reason. To do good for the community. Everything, whatever we have is given to us to do good for the community. Not to trouble anybody. If we use that to trouble anyone, the power of that boon, the power of that is gone, and that alone will destroy us. That boon will destroy us, and we have seen that over and over again in our stories. Right? I hope you all enjoyed this session. Madhyoli Charanam Jainadalala.